Yeah, everyone, and welcome back to the Wowie YouTube channel. Today we'll just be doing my first Supercoach team for the 2023 season. There's a lot of different routes I think people are going this year, so I'll just go through mine and explain everything with it. Starting off at D1, I got James Sicily. I think you got to have him. He's got real upside to go really big, but he's also extremely consistent as well. He'll take majority of the kick-ins in set marks. Just I think he's a lock. Haddon Young, I believe, is going to be a top six defender this year. Freo have said good things about him, saying he's been the most improved at the preseason this year. And if he can take the kick-ins, then yeah, he's going to be easily a top six defender. Nick Dacos won Collingwood's time trial, so hopefully he pushes into the midfield. Obviously, if he can gain DPP through that, would be really nice, and hopefully really boost to a top six defender as well. Elliot Yeo started this preseason really well, really dominated West Coast's intra-club match the other week as well, and for 337k, I think he's just a lock. Jack Bowes, I've got him in here at the minute, but it's obviously going to be a hard side to break into. But I think if he does break into, he's going to be making me at least 100k cash, which will be very handy. Connor McKenna, if he plays, he's a lock, 167k. He'll probably give you 65 to 70 points a week, and he's just going to keep building cash. Josh Weddle looks like a rookie that's going to play. Obviously, Hawthorn having lost a few, I think really training him as a big-bodied midfielder, but very versatile, can play many positions, which I think will hold him in good stead to play early on in the rounds for Hawthorn. Corey Wagner, Freo have picked him up. I he sort of just placeholder there with most rookies just till we see who's going to be playing round one. But I've heard his name go a bit in the news regarding Supercoach for Freo. Now moving into the midfielders, Clay Nova, lock him in your side. Going to be the best midfielder this year. So yeah, he's just a lock for me. Touk Miller, he's looking really fit, really big, really prime for a massive year from him. I hope. Hopefully can continue his form on from last year. Annie Brayshaw's a weird one. I didn't start with him, but then I looked at his fixture for the first 8 rounds, and he's just got a really easy start to the year. So that's why I've got him in my side, and I think he's going to be a top six midfielder as well this year. Tommy Mitchell, I think he's a lock. Obviously, didn't get as much midfield time at the Hawks, but training with Collingwood purely as a midfielder. I think he's going to go up to 630k, probably be a top 8 to 10 midfielder as well. Jacob Hopper, 332k. They released something today about him playing in the intra-club match, and he really stood out, which was really good signs to see. I don't think he'll be a keeper, but he's certainly going to build money up to that 500 to 550k mark, which will be really good. Will Ashcroft, a lock. Don't really say much. Number one pick by a fair way. No, well, not number one pick, but easily best player in the draft. Would have gone number one if it wasn't for him being father-son. But yeah, he's really been dominating Brisbane's preseason, and everyone should be selecting him in their sides. Cam Mackenzie is going to play round one. Only heard really good things about him playing as on baller and through half back for this year, I think. So yeah, I think he's a lock as well. Along with Will Phillips, really started the preseason well. Hasn't probably had the start to the AFL career that he's hoped for, but I think this year is going to be a real big step for him. I think he can make us 200 to 300k, which would be really handy. Matt Johnson, another one. He's probably going to play half forwards on a flank, might rotate through the midfield. But yeah, I think he'll play round one and hopefully make us some money. Campbell Chesser, you've got to lock him in. He'll play round one if healthy. That's a big thing. So yeah, lock him in. Billy Dowling, I've heard really good things about him. He's a big body midfielder, I believe. So I think he's obviously got to wait till round one to see the rookies. But if he's named, I'll be having him on my bench. Ryan Marshall, I think, will be the number one ruck this year. Obviously, um, since Paddy Ryder's retired, they don't really have a second ruck. They'll probably just play Marshall full 100% ruck time. So I think he's going to be the number one ruck this year. Darcy Cameron, last year when he did play ruck, he was really good. So I think he's going to be a top five ruck. Rucks are weird this year. Normally it's set and forget with Gawn and Grundy, but obviously with them both being at Melbourne, you just won't pick any of them. Nicholas Madden, really handy that loophole, that captain loophole when he can play ruck and forward. So it's going to be really handy for us coaches. Josh Dunkley really started well up in Brisbane as well. He's playing that pure mid, big body tackles, gets contested ball, gets a lot of it. So he's going to be. I'm surprised he got forward status, but I will not be complaining. Everyone should be having Josh Dunkley in their side. Connor Rozee, he seems to be playing midfield rotated with Horn Francis. It looks like both's going to be playing more of a half forward role, and Horn Francis and Rozee will just be rotating with each other through the midfield. I think Rozee will play more midfield time. Tim Taranto played in an inter-club game for Richmond and really performed well as well with Hopper. So I think Richmond are going to be back up there due to the performance of these two. I think Taranto's a lock for a top six forward as well. Nat Fyfe's an interesting one. I don't know whether I'll start with him just because if he plays forward, I don't know how good his scoring potential can be. But yeah, that's just going to be a wait and see. Wait for the preseason games to come, see how he performs, see if he does play some midfield time. Toby McLean, lock. If he starts in the Bulldogs side, then you just lock him at 178k. He'll play half forward or a wing, even pushing through the middle, and he's going to make us 250k, I'd say. Ben King, centre half forward for Gold Coast. It's been a bit of forgotten, but obviously with the knee injury last year, or was it the year before? I can't remember. But I think you lock him in as well. He's going to be kicking at least a goal a game. I think his ceiling could be up to 120 with a big game. Obviously, Gold Coast have immensely improved over the last couple of years. So I think he's real key for them. And I think he could get up to the price range of like a Charlie Curnow. He gets up to that 420 price range as well. Josh Sin, he's had a really good preseason for Port Adelaide. He's obviously going to be playing on that wing, replacing a Carl Amon as well. And then Blake Drury, I've heard good things. He's one that will most likely play round one. I was surprised when he didn't get picked up in the national draft and it took to the rookie draft. I really like how this kid plays, really hard-nosed midfielder, but he'll probably play forward this year with North Melbourne just for the development, but really hard at it. It's a really good player. So yeah. Some of the players I'm thinking about are obviously Tom Green. I really want to fit in, but I just don't see the room. Ruben Jinby, I think he's just a bit too expensive. I'd much rather Mackenzie over him. But if he plays round one, and obviously Bose doesn't, then Jinby will probably be at that D5. And then it'll give me extra cash to splash other places. In the forward line, I really wanted to look at Canelio. Obviously, he's going to be playing that pure midfield. Himmelberg was there, but obviously with him playing consistently as a forward now, you just can't pick him. So, yeah. Thanks all for tuning in, and that is my team. Please remember to like and subscribe. I want to get up to 500 subscribers by the end of the footy season, so please help me do that. So thank you and see ya.